Hello, world and universe. Welcome to the Trevor Donald Experience. Manifest your truth. And if you're new to the channel, please hit that like and subscribe button. And for all my continued followers, I want to say thank you. And this is an opinion-based video channel where I try to open your eyes and ears up to some of the travails and tribulations that take place throughout our cities, our states, our country, and sometimes around the world. In this particular video and the commentary behind it and information has everything to do with a few issues. One is Roe versus Wade that was abolished a year or two ago, and there has been significant effects with abortion rights, women's rights, especially in the state of Missouri, Texas, and definitely Arizona. And this whole issue with women's rights and them making their own decisions which have to do with their own body, and of course Roe versus Wade. Also, this particular commentary has to deal with illegal immigration and migrants. The other caveat here is that this is about a teenager and who unfortunately got pregnant, had a baby, and then tried to dispose of her baby in a dumpster. So let's get into it. Teen who abandoned newborn in Texas dumpster identified as illegal immigrant. She has been accused of placing her newborn baby, in a plastic bag and discarding him in a dumpster. A teenager who gave birth while working at a food truck in Houston before putting the newborn in a trash bag and leaving him in a dumpster is an illegal immigrant who arrived as an unaccompanied minor, according to court documents seen by Newsweek. So this teen who gave birth while working at a food truck in Houston put her newborn in a trash bag and left him in a dumpster. Luckily, the baby did not die. So the young lady is Everilda Cus Alt-Zalam, 18, who went into labor, gave birth, and then allegedly went back to work at the taco truck while the baby cried inside the tied-up bag on July 21st. The incident was caught on surveillance footage, according to court documents, with a passerby hearing the child and scooping him out of the trash. Cus Alt-Zalam allegedly told Houston police that she had no choice because she didn't want her boyfriend to break up with her because she was pregnant. Now we got to remember that, because when you hear that part, it makes me believe that maybe the baby was not by the boyfriend. The stranger who found the baby dumped along with the placenta and umbilical cord connected called first responders, who were then reportedly seen wrapping the newborn in blankets while his hair was still damp. The child was taken to a local hospital and was in good health. Newsweek reached out to the Harris County Public Defender's Office for further comment on Friday. His mother, the 18-year-old young lady, was arrested on July 23rd and charged with abandoning a child without intent to return, and she is being held on a $200,000 bond. It goes on to say it was pure luck that the child was found and received care, Judge Veronica Nelson said during Alt-Zalam's first appearance in court before Friday, July 26. The Houston Chronicle reported that 3 other babies were found abandoned around the city in June, with some groups raising concerns that they were left because of Texas' new strict abortion laws. Now remember, I said that earlier in the video that this has everything to do possibly with Roe versus Wade, the abortion rights and women's rights in the state of Texas. They're very strict in the state of Missouri, very strict, and of course in Arizona. Cus Alt-Zalam was found to have mental health issues within the past year, according to court documents, which also stated that she was banned from contacting her family or interacting with the baby. U.S. Immigration and Customs Enforcement, ICE, has placed a detainer on Cuts Al-Salam, who is reported to have entered the U.S. as an unaccompanied minor. Here we go with the immigration issue. A spokesman for ICE confirmed that the 18-year-old had entered the U.S. illegally as a minor from Guatemala. So who brought her here? Here we go with possible human trafficking issues with this migrant crisis. The detainer means that local law enforcement has to give ICE notice that an illegally immigrant is going to be released from their custody, an illegal immigrant, so that enforcement and removal operations, ERO, can step in and take custody of that individual. If convicted of the third-degree felony, Cuts Al-Salam faces up to 10 years in prison before likely removal proceedings initiated by ICE. Also, since October 2023, ICE has removed, listen to this, 65,983 illegal immigrants, with the largest portion being from Guatemala. So when you're hearing all these rumblings during this presidential election with the border walls on Trump's side and on the Biden side with them allowing the borders to be completely open, we all had this stereotype that many of them are coming from Mexico, but that's not necessarily the case. You have many coming from Venezuela, from Guatemala, from Nicaragua, from many of those Central American countries. This story has several things going along with it. First of all, we need to be thankful that the baby was found alive. That was just pure luck and purely God's favor. But look at the dynamics that we're dealing with. This is an 18-year-old young lady, or you don't want to say girl, but young lady. And for those who are listening that are in their 30s, 40s, or 50s, the mindset would be, how could she dump her baby into a dumpster, deliver it behind a food truck, and then dump it in a dumpster? Well, we're not talking about a maturely developed mindset. You're also talking about somebody that's probably non-English speaking, that doesn't have any family dynamics. There's nothing in this story about a mother, about an aunt, about a grandmother, about a father. They're saying that she came here an unaccompanied minor and an illegal immigrant. So there are all kinds of nervousness, scariness that is going through this young lady's mind, and she probably did not know what to do. Also, when in the story it talks about how she didn't want to lose her boyfriend because of the baby, makes me wonder, was the baby even the boyfriend's? If you got human trafficking going on with this migrant issue and sex trafficking, how do we not know that it wasn't some grown man or somebody else who could have been potentially the father of the baby if she was so heavily concerned about the boyfriend finding out that she had a baby? That makes you question, where is any family members or who, when she came to this country unaccompanied, who is taking care of her? Who is she living with? What are her family dynamics? All of that plays a part on your mental and physical, psychological, social development as a human being. So for those who are listening, and definitely if you were born in America and understand about how to get to resources, this young lady does not. She's from Guatemala, probably doesn't speak hardly any English, definitely doesn't know anybody. She got over here illegally, and then once she's here, she can't get any of the appreciation of social services. She has no social security number, no ID. She's probably illegally working at that food truck, and they're probably paying her pennies on the dollar, of course, and taking advantage of that. But this is a very unfortunate situation. This is an 18-year-old Guatemalan teen who was pregnant, delivered a baby behind a food truck, and then proceeded to dump the baby in a bag in a dumpster. And luckily, a passerby heard the baby crying for whatever reason, or however that played out. And luckily, the baby is alive and hopefully doing well. But this is a clear indication that in America, and during this presidential campaign and this election time, that the migration, the illegal immigrant issue is a real issue. It's probably one of the top 2 or 3 issues out here. What does this do? She has, and think about it, from an American standpoint, she gets pregnant, has a baby on American soil. She's not fully ingrained and vetted into our system. And now, not only does America have to take care of her to a certain degree, now we have this baby, and technically, with the baby being born in America, it's going to be an American citizen. That puts a heavy burden, an added burden, on already the travails and strife that we have with people that are struggling here in our country as we speak, that look like me and you and have been born here. Now we have 3, 5, 10 million illegal immigrants that have not been properly vetted, and we're trying to figure out, the government is trying to figure out what to do with them. So not only are these individuals coming here with just the clothes on their backs, they're coming from extremely warm climates, they're being transported to New York, Chicago, that can get very cold, and nobody's even thinking about, well, they need medical care, they need housing, they need food stamps, they need some kind of educational platform. Many of them are non-English speaking individuals. And then we haven't thought about, what about just out of human nature, whether it's, if they get desperate enough, you're talking assaults, murder, property damage, looting, squatting, and what if these individuals are having children while they're here, or getting pregnant and having children? That number for illegal immigrants can go from 10 million to 25 million in just a short time, a year or two. It takes 9 months to have a baby. So there are a multitude of things where the border issue, the migrant crisis, is a real crisis and needs to be addressed. This also shows you with this 18 young lady that mental health is a real issue. I talk about it in all my videos and storylines, that there needs to be a vestibule, a singular vestibule or highway to our medical paradigm for people to get help, not only for kidney disease, heart disease, cancer, but for mental health issues. This is going to put for all of these people that have undiagnosed anxiety, stress, mental disabilities, mental diagnoses, and are not being treated, that could be a real issue for our public safety. So, tell me what you think about this story. This is a Guatemalan teen, 18 years old, was pregnant, didn't know what to do, had a baby, delivered a baby behind a food truck, and then proceeded to dump her baby into a dumpster, and luckily a passerby found the baby, and the baby is okay. And then now ICE, our U.S. government, has to not only deal with this 18-year-old young lady, but also with this baby. So now we go from one person with immigration issues to 2, and both of them are going to need all of the social services help that we can find. Sending her to jail and prison, I don't think that that's the appropriate way to handle it. If she goes to jail in the American system, prison system, I think she'll come out worse. This is a very sad story, but this is a real issue in the sport, especially since Roe versus Wade has been abolished federally. You're seeing states like Missouri, Texas, Arizona, where you're going to see a high preponderance of individuals, especially young ladies, that are going to have babies who would normally probably would have terminated that pregnancy. We're going to see an uptick in quite a few women having children, not wanting them, trying to figure out what to do, which is going to put another heavy strain on not only the mother who is struggling, but now you have this newborn baby that nobody wants. And you already seeing that in Texas and in that area, they had 3 other incidences recently where somebody delivered a baby, a woman had a baby, and then they dumped the baby. Hopefully this does not become an issue here in America soon. Tell me what you think of this case. This has been the Trevor Donald Experience. Manifest your truth in a positive, righteous, and God-fearing way.